everybody. Who's watching the game? Or who was watching the game? It's halftime now. So I promise that I will be brief and get you guys back in time for the Georgia-Alabama playoff game, right?
I accidentally flipped my phone and
Oh dear. Anyway, okay, first of all, today was insane because we were out of school. Anybody else out of school today for basically some drizzle outside? I know that I was not expecting to be out of school today, but here we were inside the house and it was basically just like raining. There was no reason to be out of school. I know they were looking out for us, but I'm ready for school to be back. I need to be back in my routine, being at home with kids all day. We did that for 2 weeks and I'm ready. I'm ready for the kids to go back to school. Back. Hands up if you are too. If you've been trapped in the house with little people and you're ready for them to go back to school. Even though I go back to school myself and I take care of little kids. Anyway. So, MLMs, we're talking about them again a little bit more tonight. We're talking about a little bit more of the inner workings of what goes on in an MLM. How they kind of stack up to a traditional business that you might start yourself. How do you get paid? How does that work? What actually happens when you are in an MLM and you've started your own business? So, first of all, one of the big things that is different between a traditional business that you might start yourself and an MLM is the startup costs. Traditionally, for a business to start up, you would probably have to go and take out some hefty loans and maybe buy a storefront. You might have to set up professional services like websites. You're going to have to set up utilities for your building. If you have all that, you're going to have to, pay employees to work the desk or lock up at night, whatever. You're going to have to kind of do all this stuff yourself, right? And so that's going to cost a lot in loans, and a lot of times you might not be able to necessarily see a profit until those loans are started to be paid back. It can be a really big expense to start up your own business, but what's great about an MLM is that generally the startup costs are pretty low. So they could be anywhere from $50 to $100. There's some MLMs that I know that have startup costs of a few $1,000s, but generally you're able to recoup your startup costs if you work within the next month or two. So it's kind of, it kind of opens the playing field to more people who maybe want to go into business for themselves, but don't necessarily want to take out loans or have an idea that's unique that they want to do themselves. The other thing is that usually everything is sort of set up for you to do with an MLM. So they probably have everything ready to go. It's like a business in a box. They usually send you some kind of a starter pack or a kit that has materials in it that would catalogs and order forms and stuff like that would help you to actually just go ahead and get started with your business. They would probably have a website set up for you so that you could give people a link. They would have ways that they could pay you. They would have ways for you to take payment if you're that kind of MLM that takes payments. So all of that stuff is done for you. You have resources, you have education, you have support through the company so that you're not alone in trying to start up your business. Sometimes people that are starting up their own business are trying to figure it all out on their own, and that can be fun but also can pose some problems. With an MLM, usually there is a monthly minimum that you have to order or that you have to spend to be considered building a business. So, and I've been a part of a couple of different MLMs, and it has been the same with that. And that, last week we talked about MLMs being not a pyramid scheme. So we want there to be an exchange of goods and services with our money. If we're getting paid, we want to make sure that we're kind of investing back into the company, so that we're not just freeloading and just getting all our friends on board and then just sitting back and, getting paid for it. That's not really legal. So what we do is we place an order and we keep using the product, we keep using the service, whatever it is, or we stock our inventory, and then we sell from that. So there's usually a monthly minimum of some kind of order that you have to place with an MLM. With a traditional business, you will probably be paying utilities, you'll be paying rent, you'll be paying loans off. So when you kind of break it down to looking at it like that, an MLM can come out a little bit cheaper on the monthly investment part of it. A lot of people think that MLMs are get-rich-quick schemes, that you want to get people hooked into them, and then you want to say, okay, if you join my MLM, then you're going to make thousands of dollars in the next couple of months. In reality, I mean, there are people that do that, but there's people that do that in any kind of business, in any kind of field, in any kind of career path. You get people that succeed really, really quickly. That's really rare. Even in MLMs, it's really rare. Most people have to work a really long time, and they have to work really hard at what they're doing to get to that kind of income. The difference is with an MLM is that it's totally attainable if you just continue to work at it. And I think that's what's really exciting, is that if you really do stick with it and you just keep going, that you're just going to keep climbing. And when you look at that, usually an MLM will have its income disclosure statement that will tell you, how much people are making at these certain ranks. It's pretty exciting to look at and know that you can get there. Like, you can totally get there if you just keep working, because of, the way that an MLM works, which is exponential growth. So let's kind of talk about how an MLM really, like, you get paid and all that kind of stuff. There are usually a couple of kinds of MLMs, but let's talk about, you would basically, with an MLM, you would get paid by either selling a product or service. That's one way. And then the other way is that you would have people that would join under you to build their own business. Okay, some MLMs are set up to where if you join that MLM, you are considered building a business. And then some, like mine, you don't necessarily have to do that. You can just become a part of the company as a wholesale member, but then you don't actually have to build a business. You can choose to later, you're already set up to, but you don't have to do that. So there's the two things. You're either selling something or you're getting people to duplicate you and build their own business. And so that's the two ways that people can actually make money. There are two kinds of ways that we get paid in our company, and this is the one that I know about the most. So if you have an MLM that you are a part of and you can add to this, that'd be great. We have basically two kinds of income. We have bonuses and we have commissions that we can earn. So bonuses are basically when someone joins. If someone joins our MLM through us, we get a bonus. And then the thing that happens is, like, let's say I have 10 friends that decide to join along with me and they want to be a part of my MLM just as a wholesale member. I get a bonus for each of those 10 people. But let's say that each of those 10 people went out and they got a couple of people to join the same company through them, and they would get bonuses. I would then start to get commissions off of any kind of orders that those people place, any kind of future orders that those people place. I earn a percentage off of them. And the deeper it goes, I earn less, okay? Because I'm not really responsible for going out and getting those people involved. But what happens is all of that exponential that happens under me begins to trickle up. And that's called residual income. And what's really great about how all of this works is that when my team, my organization, whatever you want to call it, when it starts really growing and I'm not really, it's kind of taking off on its own, and people that are way down below under me several levels, they have their own passion, their own fire, their own desire to build a business. There's nothing I can do to really stop that from happening. And so I begin to see the benefits of my hard work up front coming in, and if I were to have to take off time, like say for a family emergency or something like that, I'm still going to get a paycheck. It's not going to be one of those things where I just go and sit on my couch and do nothing for the rest of my life and still get a paycheck. It's just if something happens, like for example, I have a friend who is several levels above me in my MLM, and she had to take off some time because she and her family were going to China to adopt their son. And so they were gone for a long time, and when they got home, if you know anything about adopting, especially children from another country that have been in an orphanage like that, you have to kind of cocoon them, and you have to keep them sort of separated from everybody for a while so they get to know you and your family and everything else. And she really had to take off a lot of time from her business, but she still was able to support her family with her income because of the team that she had built underneath her and that the people underneath her had built. And I was really glad to be a part of that, knowing that my hard work was contributing to her being able to take that time off with her family. So there's some really cool stories like that, by the way, in all kinds of MLMs that you find. So the cool thing about MLMs is they can be done by anyone. There's no special degree needed. There's no special skill set needed. You don't have to have any experience or anything like that. Of course, there are things about people that could make you really great at MLMs, and there are things that could make you really terrible at them. So they're not for everybody. But anybody can do it, and anybody that's willing to do it and that has the guts and the grit and the drive to do it can definitely be successful in an MLM. That's what I wanted to share with you guys tonight. Next week, we're going to be talking about why you might, or why anyone might want to do one of these business in a box type things. Why would somebody want to do that? So, join me next week. Hey, Brandon.
Yeah.
You gonna come stop your phone in just a minute? I've got two phones going here. I can't stop them both. But join me next week so that we can talk about why anybody would even want to attempt something like this, because it's interesting. There's some reasons you might be surprised. So anyway, I will see you guys later. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of the game.